Welcome. Okay, so here's the end of the shaft, right? Oh, this marker is fantastic. Look at that. Okay, here's the end. That's not no better. Okay, so it looks like this, right? Right? What are these called again? These lines? Okay, so we know what we're looking at. There's a snap ring here. Okay? Well, that snap ring, it's missing. What it looks like this. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more round. That fits in here. Do you understand? Yeah. This corner and this corner. If I was to draw it here and here, two-dimensionally, it kind of sticks out. You understand? Now, inside that outer CV shaft, you have there's some negative splines here. This piece here is this piece. Right? Where the balls go. You know what I'm talking about? What's this piece called? The inner race. Right. So the inner race goes on top of this, right? Now, right here, this surface here actually looks like this. What is that called? When it's got a little bit of a taper. That's when what happens is when you want to remove it, you take a hammer and you hit it. And then this taper is right here, right? That taper is going to tape the snap ring and it's going to compress it. You understand? If there's some tension, it's going to compress the snap ring and then the race goes out and then you take out the outer shaft. Does it make sense? Come back over here now. That's why this came out, because it's missing. You see? Now that picture makes sense, right? It's missing. That's why this came out, and I'm not lying. In here, there's a taper. Put your finger in here, and you'll feel a little bit of a taper. Just go like this. There's nothing inside, don't worry. Yeah. Right? Feel it. Just put your finger in. There's a little bit of a angle. Yeah. That angle, when you do it slow, it won't come out. When you hit it with the hammer, it's gonna go like that, and it's gonna squeeze the snap ring. You feel it? There's a little bit of a bevel. Okay? Cool? Okay, so then if you want to take it out all the way, I would, in this state, if I want to take it out all the way, I would put this in the vise and then bang with the hammer and then pull it out, right? And then pull the joint out. Meaning, this would be in the vise, this would be here, and I would hit, here, let's just do it. I'll just pretend, okay? Let's pretend. Let's use our imagination. Imagination. You guys with me so far? Okay, so let's pretend. Let's pretend there's a snap ring there, okay? You go like this. Don't hit it like this. Don't hit this part. Do this and hit here. So I'm gonna use a hammer like this, like so. This is called a dead blow hammer. You guys know what a dead blow hammer is? You know what a rubber mallet is, right? The rubber hammer, when you hit it, it goes boom, it bounces off, right? Yeah. Dead blow, because of the silica sand inside, look. No bouncing. No bouncing. It helps push. Not only does it hit, the sand pushes. So watch. You go like this, and then it comes out. I'm not going to hit it because there's no snap ring, but that's how you would take it out if it was removable, right? You just bang, 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 it comes out, okay? Now, your next question is probably, well, what do I do? How do I clean it, right? How do I clean it? So I'll show you what I do, okay? Now, so what did I say about if the shaft is making noise, it's junk, right? If it's making noise. Remember the noise? When you're turning, right? If it's not making noise, you can clean it. Sometimes people will take it all apart, completely. Take the balls out, everything like that. I don't do that, okay? I don't do that. You can, it's better for cleaning, but you want to make sure though, let me ask you something. Okay, axially. Axially means if something turns this way, the axis of rotation is in the middle, right? What does it mean when something moves radially? Side to side. So let me ask you this. When you look at these balls here, the shaft is turning. Will this ball ever go this way or this ball go that way? No, right? The ball only goes up and down. So the whole life of this shaft, that ball stays in that hole, right? And that ball stays in that hole. And that ball stays in that hole, right? They will never migrate. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? They always stay where they are. So that means the race, does the inner race move radially? Does the inner race change positions? So what does that tell you about the wearing of those slots? Each one is going to be unique to itself, right? So if I was to completely take this apart, I might have to put it back.
Where it was.
Say that louder.
Where it was.
Put it back to where it was. So I would probably take a punch. Pung, make a mark over here. Pung, make another mark, right? And then when I clean everything, I put everything back to the way it was. Like I'm not gonna, oops, move it around here, because that might cause noise anyway. So the way I clean it, in this state, I wipe all the grease from the picture that I showed you, wipe everything that I can, go to a bar salt tank, let it soak. Let the bar salt break down the grease, okay? And I used to use a shop, I used to just use a pressure washer. You know pressure washer, right? Where you wash your car? Spray everything. If there's still some grease, put some more brake cleaner, put some more Varsol, use air, pressurized air. Do whatever you got to do to clean it out, then dry it. Once there's no more water and solvents inside, okay, watch this. We're gonna have to use our imagination until I'll put a video online for you. We don't have CV boot grease here, but the boot grease comes in a bag. Think about a ketchup bag, where you get your ketchup or mustard. It's a bag, you rip it and you squeeze it, right? It's a ketchup bag, except it's bigger and it's full of grease. What I usually do is, let's pretend this is the ketchup bag of grease. Okay, pretend inside there's lots of grease. I cut a little hole. I make sure, let me ask you guys a question now, common sense, okay? Do I just put the grease on the outside and then just put the boot and then put it in the car? No, why? Where should I put the grease?
Inside.
Inside. How would you do that, Bo?
From here or here?
Right, so I would put the bag of grease inside. And then? Right? And keep putting the grease in. Eventually the grease is gonna do what? It's gonna go and come out the side anyway. So when I see it come out between the balls, that means I have the grease everywhere. And then, with the leftover grease, I put it on top. I build up a little bit of grease on top. And then you know what I do? I take something like a piece of wood or a piece of metal, not a piece of wood or a piece of rubber, something that won't damage the shaft. I put the piece of wood on the ground and I just go boom like that. Do you understand? I shock it. And then gravity is gonna make the grease pack inside. Understand? So that's done. Then reverse order. Reverse order now. I pretend. Imagination land. Imagination land. We have lots of grease in here now. We take the shaft. Okay? Put it back. Right? Well, sorry. There would be a snap ring. We'd have to tap it back in. I take the brand new CV boot. Brand new CV boot. Okay? Boom. Okay? Okay? Brand new CV boot clamp. Inner and outer, just 2 clamps. One here, one here. We don't have them here. I'll try to show you new versions if I can find some new ones, okay? If there's a dampening weight, put it in now, right? This one doesn't have a dampening weight, so we don't bother. What's the dampening weight for? What is it dampening? Absorb vibration. Yeah. Very good. Then, the new boot on the outside. You have to put this first. Also, you have to remember, the new boot, the inner clamp, drop that in first. You follow? Then this one. Because if you put this one, you can't put this one, right? Put the clamp in first. Put the next boot. Then, what do we do? What's this guy called again? Pay attention. This is missing a snap ring too, right? This is missing a snap ring. Normally, check this out. Look very closely. Always check. I want you to look at the splines. Look at the splines, okay? See the splines? Now I'm gonna flip it. What's the difference? What's the difference? Taper. Do you see it? See the difference? Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
See?
Oh yeah.
You see? Why? What does that do? It's to help you squeeze the snap ring. Like I said, that's there so it helps to crush the snap ring into the lock. So that means this face is down. Face is down. Okay? Right? So in the real world, it would not install that easy. There'd be snap rings. So take a little hammer. And very important skill when you're working on a car. if you're building something like this, engine or transmission, whatever, listen to the sound of the hammer. Oh, you hear it? You hear it? And when ding, 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 tock, 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 that means it's stopped. Stop hitting it. Listen to the sound. It's very important. Okay? When you're hitting something, if it goes dong, 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 then goes pong, and you hear like a really strong metal sound, stop hitting it. Some people don't pay attention to this, you know what I mean? Like this guy, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, yeah, I'm like hitting it, and all of a sudden the customer's buying a new car, right? Okay, so pretend that's in now. Make sure there's lots of grease. So with the tripod, how I do the tripod, I wouldn't do it this way. I put this back on the bench. I take this, what's this called again? The inboard tulip housing. Or I will accept tulip or tripod housing. If I show you a picture like this, if you see 3, say tripod. It's still a tulip,